Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, that is Sahitya Abhyasa Academy. In the last part, we have studied the six elements. Am I right? Six elements of tragedy. The first one is plot, character, thought, diction, melody, and spectacle. These are the things where we can see in the tragedy. So this is what the theory which is given by Aristotle. If we follow these are the steps, that would be considered as a pure tragedy according to Aristotle. What about the next concept or a term on a tragedy means unity of plot. What kind of unity should be there in a plot means plot must be coherent and unified. The first part is plot now. The further explanation about this unity of plot. It should be unified, avoid episodes, plots, even strung together without necessity. No need to add so episodes in that plot. Just explain it in a one way, in a one part, that is unity of plot. And even should follow according to the probability or necessity. This is also one of concept of Aristotle. Keep this thing. We can see this concept in a plot, in a poetics work. Okay, fine. Probability and necessity, and introduce idea of peripetia, reversal of fortune, and anagnorisis, recognition and discovery. In their plot, we should see these are the things. For example, Oedipus is the best example as we have studied. And what about the tragic hero or a hamartia? Yes, it is also. So you need to write this thing in a elements of tragedy too by putting the title such kind of this. Ideal tragic hero, not perfect but better than ourselves. So who falls due to some error or a frailty, hamartia, not said wickedness. So here tragic hero means tragic hero is not a perfect. Yes, because of taking the judgment in a wrong judgment made him to become a tragic fall down in his life. That should be part of this tragedy. It should be act as a hamartia. Fine. For example, Hamlet's delay leads to multiple deaths. Once he know that Claudius has murdered his father means he should take step early and kill this person. What happens? He just he searched the clarification about whether the Claudius has killed my father or not, and he takes so much time, and many times whenever he got a time he didn't kill him, so he delays many poor thing. For that reason we can see at the end of the story many more deaths on that particular moment. Okay, then what about the Macbeth's overreaching ambition? Yes, access to the mean, overreaching. It is very easy to kill a Duncan and become a king. No, it is not. After killing Duncan, he tried to kill his two son also. Yes, if it is not possible, again he is going to means he killed to Banco also. Then Macduff's family also. So this is how he himself doesn't know what he is taking the steps in his life. Only his thought is to take the position called the kingship. This is how made them to in a hamartia. Tragic flaw on tragic hero and become a tragic hero. Simple versus complex. Yes, we can see the two types of plot. One is simple and the second one is complex. Simple means change of fortune without reversal or cognition. Without reversal means without knowledge about the thing, all of a sudden it changes. What about the complex plot? Includes peripety and anagnorisis. See, change of fortune means meeting of that three witches turns into the tragic flaw. What about the complex plot means peripetia, unknowingly killing his father and got married to mother and finally realized that he has done a mistake. That is peripetia and anagnorisis. Okay, fine. This is about what? Unity of action and tragic flaw or and hamartia. What about the structural concept of um, this poetics? What are the concept can be appeared in this poetics mean? The first one is peripetia, to blind out. Okay, peripetia, reversal of fortune. Oedipus goes from king to blind outcast. Yes, we have seen this thing. Anagnorisis means recognition, discovery of truth, as Oedipus realizes he's killed his father. What about Hamartia? Tragic flaw, error in judgment, Macbeth's ambition, definitely. Pathos, that means scene of suffering, Hamlet's holding yoke. Skull, Lear with Cordelia, very nice. It's also a very beautiful story. Shall tell you in another day. Next, so this is what the main concept: peripetia, anagnorisis, hamartia, pathos in tragedy. Elements of tragedy. You need to mention these are the concept in the work in explanation of theory of tragedy without missing. And these are the concept where we can see in a poetics. Getting my points? In a poetics, what we study? First, poetry, then tragedy, elements of tragedy, unity of action, then this one, hamartia, tragic, everything comes under this thing. And next, tragedy and epic, how it acts, which is better. What about the epic poetry? Here it comes. Epic poetry and versus tragedy. Epic, it is a long narrative. Ramayana and Mahabharata are called epic poems. Getting my point? Epic poems. Whereas tragedy, Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, King Lear, stays as the world's greatest tragedy. Epic is a narrative imitation in a verse. In a verse, lines, usually hexameter, telling stories of a noble actions with a wide scope of a time and space. It is recited, not performed, mixes narration with the speeches by character. Here we can see, just observe the Mahabharata. We can see the grandeur concept. Grandeur means great, imagination, grandeur act. Everything will be noble. Even character is also noble. The way the story is included in a very long narrative way, that should be in a epic. There is no any performance on the stage. Keep this thing. It is only narration. ಕಥೆಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು. That is epic. Example, Homer's Iliad, the best example, and Odysseus, the long return home. Iliad, we can see the Trojan War. Fine. What about the tragedy? Tragedy is a dramatic imitation of serious and complete action of a certain magnitude using embellished language performed by actors on a stage, meant to evoke pity and fear, leading to catharsis. Very nice. It is a imitation of a serious actions that would be shown in a complete action, and whatever the action is gone in that particular work, tragedy called, that should give the fear and pity on the audience. Means, of course, to the main character, fear should be effect on the audience. That leads to the main character in a catharsis, means purification to the audience also. That leads to the character tragic flaw, and the catharsis should be happen on audience. Fine. We can see the example of Sophocles, Oedipus Rex, King's tragic discovery and downfall as Shakespeare's Macbeth, Macbeth, ambition leading to ruin as, and the major differences of tragedy and epic poetry. Aspects, let's begin. What are the differences between epic and a tragedy? First, we go through the mode. Wait a second. I can't find. I want to take a little bit time because of this setting. I did it in a proper way. Now it. Yeah, see, this is in a right way. Thank you. See, what is that? Major differences on tragedy and epic poetry. What are the difference can be seen in a tragedy and epic poetry? First upon the mode. Mode means dramatic actions are shown by the actors on a stage. It is taken the performance on a stage. What about epic? It is a narrative one. Poet tells a story, something quoting characters. Yes, it is a narrative way, it is a performance on a stage. What about the length and scope? Compact usually fits one day, unity of time. In unity of time, it should be completed. What about this? Vast can span years and continents. Yes, in a Ramayana, 14 days, 14 years vanvasa scene we can see in that Ramayana. And in Mahabharata also, how many years it is taking the completion of that war. So how it takes it, that is what called the vast. Yes, but here tragedy must be completed in a at a time, unity of time. What about the spectacle in music? Includes spectacle, chorus, musical elements, definitely. What about here? No spectacle. Staging, a purely verbal. It is just like a communication way. Yes, someone is going to telling the story, someone is listening, and there is no any. It is a long narrative story. What are the things is coming in between that they are going to mention those are thing. So purely it is a verbal. What about the meter? Dialogue in a iambic trimeter, choral, odes in a lyrical meters. What about here? Dactylic hexameter, like a Homer. Yes, I will take a class on about this meter, types of meters. What are those? Like complex is because it takes so much time, but I can. Complexities of devices means uses peripetia, anachronisms, pathos directly on stages. Definitely can include many episodes, even multiple plots too. So emotional aim, pity, fear, leading to catharsis in the audience. Definitely. What about here? Wonder, grandeur, more intellectual enjoyment. We can see these are the mixture of emotional in the epic. But here pity and fear must be in tragedy that should lead to the audience. Means turn into the catharsis and leads to the audience. What about the unity? Strong unity of action, few digressions. What about here? Allow many incidents, even side stories also. Yes, we can see it. So the last point is Aristotle versus Plato on poetry. What are the views of each character, each writer, each critic? What about according to Aristotle, what is poetry? According to Plato, what is poetry? We have studied it. Let's have some small definitions. Okay, fine. Plato and Aristotle. Poetry imitates appearances, but it is not truth. According to Plato, poetry imitates not truth. It misleads us. This is what Plato. Plato says poetry misleads us. Okay. Fine. This is what first Plato says. Poetry imitates appearances, not truth. So misleads us. Poetry, Plato, ಅದು ಮಿಸ್ಲೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟೋ ಅರಿಸ್ಟೋಟಲ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಪೋಯಿಟ್ರಿ ಇಮಿಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್? ಪ್ಲೇಟೋ calls for banning poets from ideal state, sees tragedy as a morally useful through the catharsis. Whereas Aristotle, art appeals to irrational part of soul. So art appeals to reason by showing probable causes. Yes, imitation is a part of, is like a art. It can be lead, it can be take to the reader into moral way. Somewhat. This is what telling about the differences between Aristotle and Plato. We have studied many more things. That's why I completed in a short way. Anyway, this is my class about the theory of tragedy for your exam. Hope so you have understood little bit in my class. Thank you for attending this class. Bye bye. Take care.